Slinky is the most unlikely toy, entangled in a tale of steps, missteps, and one woman's steely optimism. And if you think the odds of a metal spring selling over 1/3 billion copies is low, wait till you hear what she had to endure to make it so. This is the tale of a toy everyone knows as Slinky. In 2006, I produced the film Toyland with director Ken Sons. We traveled to Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania to the home of Slinky and to the home of the toy's matriarch, Betty James. She was just as fun and endearing as the toy she helped make famous.
Well, my earliest memory of Slinky was my husband coming home from work and had this thing in his hand, and he said, "I think I can make this walk." My husband was a mechanical engineer and marine engineer, and he was out on the trawl running a naval ship for the Cramp shipyard. And the spring fell off a table and gave him the idea that he might be able to make it walk. And when he finally got the properties and everything right, we brought Tom in, who was just a little foal at that time. And then my husband said, "Let's try putting down the stairs." And I was speechless. So then we brought in neighborhood children to see if they liked it. And everybody seemed to like it. My husband said, "We have a toy now. You have to name it." I didn't know how or what I would call it, so I thought, well, I'll get a dictionary and see if I can find anything that sort of depicted what this does. And the word Slinky was it. We were both just out of college, and we didn't have any money, and we had a little boy. We borrowed $500. We had made what we could get for that price. 400 seemed to be about the limit. The 400 were made by the company that was rolling them for us. We didn't have the equipment at that time.
Hi, the name's Slinky Kitten, and can I join you guys? Sure thing, my little kitty. Come on. Yippee! Gee, I'm glad we're making friends. Yeah, my name's Woody, and here's my friend Buzz Lightyear. And these are your friends. Cool.
That company was the Wilkening Manufacturing Company in South Philadelphia, a maker of piston rings. Journalist Clark DeLeon discovered that before Slinky was invented, the employees at Wilkening were already playing with springs, because a coil of uncut piston rings acted just like a Slinky. This toy lore is reminiscent of Frisbee pie workers tossing metal pie tins before the Frisbee was invented. Slinky's success brought competitors. A company in Chicago started selling Mr. Walker in December of 1946, but it was too late. Richard James had already filed his patent in August of that year. Perhaps to deter others, James Industries allowed Wilkening to produce their own spring toys, Coralie and Mr. Wiggle, as long as they paid a royalty and printed the James patent number on their box. Richard and Betty lost money on those first 400 Slinkies because they sold them for $1, just to see if anyone even wanted a walking spring. They couldn't even afford a box. Each one was hand-wrapped with yellow paper on which was printed instructions on how to play. Betty's father's model shop on Portico Street was the couple's first Slinky factory.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a factory. That was our first home. A lot of people thought we were crazy. In fact, sometimes I even wondered myself.
I remember the house in Brookline where Slinky started to get big. I must have been 4, 5.
We used Tom as a model because at that point we couldn't afford models, and we wanted to have something we could show the stores. When we first had Slinky, we would go out and try to show people, but a Slinky just sitting there isn't terribly exciting because you don't know what it does. So we tried, and they said no, they weren't interested. Well, finally, Mr. Urban at Gimbel's in Philadelphia took pity on us, and he said, well, I'll give you the end of a counter in November, and you can come down and see what you can do. My husband took them down, and I thought, oh, if he doesn't sell any, he's going to feel so sad. So I called a friend of mine, and I said, if I give you $1, will you go with me and buy a Slinky? So that if no one else is buying, at least it'll look like he has customers. We we got down there and got out the elevator, there were all these people waving dollar bills. I mean, we sold 490 minutes.
Is this where the horror movie folk be?
What?
I got a truckload of snakes for them horror movie folk.
Well, I better take a look.
Careful now. They be poison snakes. 1 minute, you're a big, strapping, healthy man, and the next, snap, you're dead meat, deep sick.
I better check it out.
Careful now. They'll knot up on you. Them poison snakes will do that. Gotta keep them all around. When they get knotted up on you like that, they get real crazy. Especially on a day like today when it's real hot. You want one for you, boy? I gave one to my boy last year.
No, that's all right.
Bobby,
Just take the truck on over to stage 5.
Back her left for me.
We want to wish you a happy Valentine's Day. So, see you on the next part.